Hello. It is Tuesday, May 30th, and this is Dr. Palermo, your instructor in EDLS 710, with a week two informational video. Uh, hey, folks, I have enjoyed getting to know some of you with your videos. Still lacking one or two of those, but I've also read your posts and responses to learning for leadership and your thoughts there. A shout out to Brayton Leonard, who that's if you look at Brayton's response there, that's exactly what I'm looking for in terms of demonstrating that you have responded to the prompt by understanding the text and the big ideas there, but also applying them to your learning. So gave credit to everybody. It was a great start. Thank you from everyone. And if yeah, shout out to Brayden. Nice job. We meet this coming weekend at Wayne Learning Center, Wayne Community College. I don't know the room yet, but we're usually on the second floor, and you know that better than I do. June 3rd and 4th, this Saturday and Sunday. I look forward to seeing you in person, and we'll start at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. You and I we can all talk about the schedule after that, and some of you I know are asking for alternative assignments for other face-to-face dates, but primarily the course will be online, and if you follow this week-to-week format, you'll do fine, but boy, it's a quick 10-week summer session. You've been through this once before, so I don't have to tell you that, but we're going to accomplish a lot in 10 weeks, and I know that many of you are still closing out your school years, EOGs, EOCs. I was a principal long enough to know how stressful this time of year is in school. So I appreciate that you're spending some time and devoting some time to your graduate school work as well. So again, if you stick with me in this week-to-week format, I think we can keep up with that. This weekend, when we meet on Saturday, bring textbooks, bring laptops or other electronic devices, bring power cords. I usually don't have enough of those at Wayne. If you need, we're not supposed to eat in the classrooms, but if you need juice and snacks to stay healthy, please bring that stuff. I've also found that layers, the layered look at Wayne is a good thing. Bring a sweater. Can never tell whether it's going to be freezing cold or hot in those rooms, so wear layers. Also this weekend, please bring your initial thoughts about the SAP, as well as any questions that you have about the course, about assignments. There's, again, not much time, and I'm going to ask you for your initial thoughts about the SAP in a writing next week. So bring some thoughts, and let's kick those around and make sure that you're kicking off the SAP with the needs assessment on the right track. So what do I have loaded in this week 2 content stuff? Well, I want you to read chapter 2 from Learning for Leadership, and there is a response there in a dialogue post, but if you want to wait till after Sunday to respond to that, it might make more sense after we talk. And I also like to give you the big ideas in a variety of different formats. This one pager that I found from Yes Magazine, whatever that is, summarizes Keegan and Drago Severson's theories pretty well in a one pager that you might find useful later. So take a look at that, please. The value belief statement, this journey into self, knowing who you are so that you'll be a better leader of others. You may also want to wait till after Sunday to get started on that. But what do you really have to, and please read. Now, there's lots of different ways to read. Make sure that you have at least skimmed part 1, which is several chapters of this Heart of Coaching prior to the weekend. We're going to spend a little bit of time exploring coaching models this weekend, but please have some familiarity. Skim read is my suggestion. If you want to read every single word prior to Saturday, that's great. But if you don't have time, make sure you've skimmed part 1 of Heart of Coaching. So bring those books, skim part 1 of Heart of Coaching. Here's where I really want you to focus prior to the weekend, please. Take a look at this PowerPoint. Let's see if I can get it up here. Will this work? Not so much. Nope, that's not a good idea either. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Heart of coaching. How can I get this thing up here? Stop share. New share. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I hope that didn't cause too much downtime. Here's a PowerPoint that I think is pretty important for us to look at and to think about prior to our discussion about the SAP this weekend. The Systems Analysis Plan, as some of you have pointed out, is another continuous improvement project in a series of projects that you've done. How not to overlap that with others? Well, I tend to think that since this course is about curriculum and instruction, our curriculum is pretty standard. I'm going to talk about a three-legged stool of curriculum and instruction and assessment this weekend, but I think that our curriculum is pretty much standard. If you are teaching and working in the state of North Carolina, DPI tells us pretty much what the curriculum is. I'm not sure that you want to spend a whole lot of time evaluating the curriculum. Now, instructional methodology and how we deliver that curriculum, what the assessment of the students' learning tells us about how effective teachers are in delivering that curriculum, that's a whole different can of worms. So you have done needs assessments in the past, but what does this tell us? Can I? Yeah, the curriculum design process that's outlined here is really your needs assessment process, and the same process that you're going to go through in the systems analysis plan. But I tend to think that if we're going to define a need, that we work backwards from the assessment of student learning to determine where the needs are, where the gaps are in learning, whether it's third grade reading ability, whether it's sixth grade math or algebra, whether it's a number of AP courses that students are taking in high school. If there's a gap between the desired state and your current state, that is defining the need that you might then try to prioritize and find a solution for in your SAP. You may need to replay that a couple of times to even guess what I'm talking about. And I hope to make this clear this weekend. So please open and read carefully through this PowerPoint in order to raise questions and to find what you don't know and want to learn more about when we meet this weekend. But needs assessment. I'm going to ask you soon, what is your SAP? What is the need that you're going to focus on? You should know what a needs assessment is at this point, what kinds of, why you would conduct a needs assessment. You're going to do it because you have to for your SAP. What kind of information do you get from it? Where do you start? I'm going to tell you that I think where you start is with some of the data that has already been defined and has been outlined by your district or your school. And I'm going to take a district approach to this. If we need to talk about schools or smaller entities later, I'll come back to that, and we can talk individually about how you might meet the expectations for the assignment in a smaller setting. But talk district. I bet your district already has done needs assessments. I bet you they already have prioritized goals for improving student achievement in particular. And if we're thinking about a three-legged stool of curriculum and instruction and assessment, assessment is probably driving your need, but can we change the curriculum? Not so much. We can find out whether teachers are teaching and delivering the curriculum with fidelity. That might be a need and an area to start. But I have an inkling, I have a guess that improving some of the instructional methodology that teachers are using to deliver the curriculum, that there may be some gaps there between what we know to be best practice for working with sixth graders in learning algebra, or in third graders learning to read, and what teachers are actually doing, which might point to some particular professional development. Aha. And now we get back to how do we improve teacher efficacy to better deliver that curriculum and improve student learning. So I think that's the crux, that PD to help teachers improve instruction may be the need that you identify in your SAP to try to improve student learning in your district. So slide 12 there asks, where do you start? I think you start with data that the district has already identified. And what are some of those data sources? Test scores, academic progress, maybe it's school involvement or community engagement, maybe the demographics of your district, ESL populations, minority population, maybe that's driving the need in your district, don't know. But you should be gathering that data, probably is already gathered, but identifying that data and restating it for us, establishing the priorities, and what else did I want to say? Oh, developing your rationale statement. Why would you identify these 1, 2, or 3 things in order to try to focus improvement? Because at the end, you're going to make a presentation to the superintendent, to the cabinet, to someone about why this is a pressing need. And again, if this is already part of your district strategic plan, I would not reinvent the wheel. I would not go to the superintendent and suggest a totally new or different direction for your school district. You're still learning what it is to be a superintendent, I hope, and working with the current leadership and the current strategic plan in order to focus on the most pressing needs, where you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck is my suggestion. Okay, so please read through this PowerPoint. Let's see if I can get back here. So make sure every week, please, that you're checking in with the current week. This is a week 2, May 30th through June 5th. We will meet June 3rd and 4th, and I look forward to that time. Make sure that you've brought your books and done some of the reading prior to the weekend, please. You can do most of this writing on Sunday or Monday, or after the weekend is done. If you want to get ahead on it, I know some of you are working ahead, and that's fine. But this weekend when we meet, we're really going to focus on the needs assessment. And oh, by the way, there's some other good resources here that might help you. The North Carolina DPI one, I'm going to point out an example, an example of how you might use coaching and mentoring of initially licensed teachers in order to try to frame your SAP. More about that later. Skim over and be familiar with this stuff, please. Know what's coming. Next week, you're going to write your initial ideas about the SAP, but bring the questions that you have to the weekend, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks. I hope that has not raised too many questions or raised your level of anxiety as you're closing out the school year. Write to me with any questions that you have. I check my email every day. And I look forward to seeing you in person.